This is a Laserdisc. If you've never seen one before, there you go. I used to think that these were made based on CD technology. I found out that CDs were made from this technology. Laserdiscs came first, and this Laserdisc happens to be disc 1 of Batman Returns. And so I'm going to go through my Laserdisc player, go through some of the discs in my collection, just going to hit the highlights, and then that'll be it for today. This is the Pioneer CLD D703 Laserdisc player. It's got a CD tray. Separately, it pops out independently, and then if you want to switch over to Laserdisc, then the whole larger tray pops out. Got a headphone jack and volume control for the headphones. All your basic button functions. It came with a remote, as most things you'd expect would. But this dial here, and there's one on the remote as well, where you can shuttle through scenes. And in certain formats, you can do that with the image clear on the screen. We're kind of spoiled with DVDs. DVDs have always been able to do that. You pause it, you move forward, you move backward, frame by frame. Laserdiscs, you couldn't always do that. But then this other dial here will, when you pause, let you go frame by frame. So shuttle, fast forward, rewind, and all of that. This particular model has a digital output, but it doesn't do Dolby Digital. This came out before that format of audio. Some Laserdisc players will do that. Dolby Digital did come out towards the end of Laserdisc's run. It was known as AC3 at the time. And one of the first movies released in Dolby AC3 was Batman Forever. I know, not one of the great movies of all time, but all the same, it was neat to hear when Two-Face fired his gun in the air in his lair with Riddler. You could hear that bullet bounce around with so much more clarity and so much definitive movement through space in the AC3 format. So first off, I have Batman Returns, and this is in CLV and CAV format. So disc 1, sides 1 and 2 is CLV, which is extended play. They get much more of the movie on that one disc. The second disc, the third side, okay, side 1 of disc 2, whatever you want to call it, is in CAV format and will allow you to do that shuttle and when you pause, that frame by frame. So there's that. Next is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Roger Rabbit short. What's it called? Tummy Trouble. And great movie, classic movie. If you haven't seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids before, I have no idea what you've been doing with your life. Same goes for this movie right here. This movie is still the best. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original. This is actually the first format I saw Ninja Turtles on. It was in Laserdisc format. There's going to be a couple others later on. But this is extended play format. Crammed the whole movie down onto one disc. Next, another movie. First time I ever saw it was just on Laserdisc. Not VHS. I didn't get to go to a theater to see it. I saw it on Laserdisc. And this is standard format. 2 discs, 4 sides, folds out. Great, awesome movie. I really think this is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. Next, again, this one's extended play. All the movies I've shared with you so far are survivors from a house fire that we had growing up. I was a senior in high school. President's Day in '94 had a house fire, but these movies survived. Some slight smoke damage. Some of the discs show discoloration, but they still work, so that's kind of cool. Nice format. But Beetlejuice made Tim Burton a household name and got him the opportunity to direct the first Batman movie. Next, Twister. Love this movie. It's a fun, kind of summer blockbuster kind of a movie. Popcorn movie, if you will. Great soundtrack. Some great songs on a soundtrack. 2 of which are Van Halen. Respect the Wind. was one of the tracks where it's just Eddie and Alex Van Halen with the piano and guitar. And interestingly enough, Eddie was playing the piano, as far as I understand. Next, another movie. This is the very first format I ever saw Aladdin in, was in Laserdisc. So, again, this folds out. Some artwork there, chapter index, and everything. Complete CAV. So all 4 sides, you have complete control with my particular player. Another classic, Jurassic Park. 2 discs again, but instead of coming out of the end, these ones actually come from, they pull out in the middle, and there's a little sheet with other movies from Universal Studios. But Jurassic Park, great, awesome classic movie. So this one was one of my older brother's discs. Pink Floyd, The Wall. I think he might have had this before he moved out of the house. So I think it was after the fire, but before he moved out on his own. I've never actually watched it, but there it is. It was one of my brother's. The movies I got from my brother I got because he passed away in 2014. And my sister-in-law, because I had the working Laserdisc player and the interest in the Laserdiscs, she let me have them. And so, Chrissy, if you're watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And now I have an opportunity to share something from Eric here. Next is a classic, Blade Runner, the director's cut. The definitive edition of Blade Runner. And 2 discs, I think, and CAV, so complete functionality there. The next 2 movies are unique to my collection in that they are complete in package. One is one that was from my brother's collection, No Escape, and like I said, complete package. I saw the movie when it came out ages and ages and ages ago. It feels like. You can't see it, but the price on here, $40 for 1 disc, extended play format, limited functionality, and you're paying $40 for this in the 90s. I remember working at Walmart and people complaining when I worked in electronics about paying $20 for a DVD, and you really have no idea. People obviously had no idea that something like this was out. I even remember VHS tapes. Dick Tracy, I think, at one point sold for $95. I may be crazy, but you all can check me on it. But I'm pretty sure I knew some people paid close to $100 for a copy of Dick Tracy on VHS. But this last one, my brother-in-law bought Empire Strikes Back for me when I got my Laserdisc player, and so it's complete in package and never been opened. CAV format, full functionality, but I have seen Empire Strikes Back on Laserdisc, even though I've never opened this, and we'll get to that in a minute. But before that, these last 2, I'm going to have extra footage to show you the contents of these. These are collector's editions of a couple of movies. And bear in mind, I really haven't paid anything for any of this stuff. The Laserdisc player was from my dad. Some of the discs were from my dad. Some of the discs were from my brother. My brother-in-law gave me Empire Strikes Back. I might have bought 1 Laserdisc my entire life, and it was Street Fighter, the animated movie, 20 years ago. And that was, I think I may have paid $16. Laserdiscs were on their way out at that time. But collector's editions. First and foremost, Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton classic. And definitely you can tell from this movie, it's so very much Tim Burton. You can see his style on the artwork and the clay and everything in the movie. The whole tone, everything is very Tim Burton-esque. But again, I'm going to show you some footage here that will show you the contents now. Here's a listing of chapter titles in each disc. Disc 1, Disc 2, and Disc 3. And the film, the art, the vision. Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. Like I said, this is a classic movie. Great stuff. There you go. And welcome back. And last but not least, the Star Wars Trilogy Definitive Collection. This one is, as you can see, this is a monstrous collection. Each movie, Episode 4, Episode 5, and Episode 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, are each 3 discs in length. 5 sides for the movies, side 1 and 2 of disc 1, side 1 and 2 of disc 2, and side 1 of disc 3, and then side 2 of disc 3, or side 6, is bonus features. And each of the movies has this. Also included in this collection is a hardbound book about the creative, it's called The Creative Impulse, in regards to George Lucas, and it covers all the movies that Industrial Light and Magic and Lucasfilm have been a part of up to a certain point. And I'll show you that here in the footage that's coming up. And at the day of this recording, this is actually the 23rd anniversary of the release of this. It was released on this day in 1993. So here we see Star Wars. You notice it doesn't have A New Hope or Episode 4 anywhere. Just simply listed as Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. And then an explanation. The Definitive Collection. Chapter stops for each movie, for each disc. Stills and background, behind the scenes stills. Okay. And the Creative Impulse, George Lucas. THX 1138. Images there, forward. American Graffiti. Return of the Jedi. This is from the Young Indiana Jones. Lucasfilm, Skywalker Ranch, just incredible. Quite a neat little collection. So there's my collection. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot into it. I've just been, I guess, fortunate, if you will, to have people say, hey, do you want this? And I say, hey, sure, why not? I'd love it. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe down below. And I'll talk to you later. I love you. I want to encourage you. And remember, let the chimps fall where they may. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.